just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Packer Up, boys. It is time for the ritual. Wow! Smooth, easy drinking beer. It doesn't get much better. It does not get much better. As always, guys, what a week. What a week. I'm sure you're sitting there going, I hate my boss. I hate my boss. Or I hate what I'm doing. I hate what I'm doing for work. Or I feel like I'm not getting appreciated. Put it all aside, baby. Put it all aside. I'm sure you've got a great partner that you enjoy time with, or kids or friends. Just focus on the good things, baby. Focus on the good things this weekend. Enjoy yourself. In Sydney, great weather outside. The sun is out. It is shining. Getting a little bit warmer. And I tell you what, in the sporting world, it does not stop. But before we get to it, Father's Day drop, Wednesday, 6 p.m. That is right. We got 4 big bloke shirts, 3 little bloke shirts, and what I mean by that, 4 colours for the big bloke, 3 colours for the little bloke, 1 girl dad, 1 colour of the girl dad shirts, and 1 colour for the daddy's girl shirts. Plus, we've got 2 kids footies, one that says little bloke, one that says daddy's girl. I will say the amount of tags that we have gotten in our post on social media shows that the demand is really, really high. This is a very limited drop, guys, very similar to the jumpers. I told you all before the jumpers that it was a limited amount and they sold out in like 5 or 6 minutes. So make sure to be there at 6 p.m. Wednesday night because, I mean, look, me personally, having a kid soon, I'm actually excited. I know that we've only got sizes 2, like ages 2 till, what is it, 12? 2 till 12. But I'm just excited to even get the just shirt on him, even though it's not going to fit him. So matching shirts, you got the big bloke and the little bloke, or girl dad and daddy's girl, and the little footies, which I would definitely be getting a little footy for the little man. Next Wednesday, 6 p.m, guys, set the alarms. Tell the misso, can you spoil me on Father's Day, please? But outside of that, make sure to grab a case of bloke beer this weekend. Get it from your local. We're in local independence. It's the beer of rugby league. You know, I don't think there's a beer in history across the world that loves sport the way we do. We were born in sport, literally created for sport. So if you love your footy, grab a case of bloke beer from your local. Matty, how you going, brother?
I'm good. I'm excited. It's we're getting closer and closer and closer to finals. As you said, the weather's warming up, which has just been great. We've been pretty blessed this winter, which has been nice, but I reckon whenever I think of like what's the best month of the calendar year, I think September for me. Just because it's warming up and the finals are on.
See, I like it a little bit warmer.
Okay.
A little bit warmer. I want to be rolling out of the house. I remember when I went to the Warriors, it shocked me how much the weather affected my mood.
Yeah?
I was so inexperienced in life. I'd never lived anywhere else other than Queensland. Went to New Zealand and I was truly struggling with the fact that I had to wear jeans, shoes, and a jacket everywhere. And it sounds like the stupidest issue. Like, are you serious? Grow the fuck up. But it's like a 22-year-old, it's just something I wasn't ready for. Yeah. And it's something that genuinely affected my mood. Like getting ready for training before you run out, wearing the jackets, the trackies. It is so different to Queensland where you wake up in the morning, you got thongs, singlet. Training-wise, you're not like cold and, the contact's going to hurt a little bit more or the ground's wet. Yeah. Mostly in Queensland, it's always warm. And it genuinely affected my mood. Like, I was sitting there going, I just don't want to wear jeans and a jacket today, which is, again, so soft and so pathetic. But I'm telling the truth.
See, I can sit here and laugh, but, like, I've never lived out of Sydney. In fact, I've only ever lived out of this suburb for 1 year of my life, which was, like, 4 years ago. If I moved anywhere else, I'd be the same. I reckon this is the first. I'm only wearing jeans because we were at a photo shoot before. I don't know why I wore jeans, but I reckon this is the first time I've ever worn jeans in this studio.
I'm not a pants guy.
Nah, neither.
I'm not a pants guy. I'm a shorts guy.
Yeah.
Stay loose, baby.
Free.
Stay fresh.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comment section, you're a pants guy or a shorts guy. There's something about pants that just not comfortable to me. I don't feel free. And like, if I get attacked by some kind of highly trained ninja, if I'm wearing pants, he wins.
Yeah.
I need to be ready to go at all times. That's why sometimes, like not sometimes, all the while, I'm wearing joggers. I'm ready to run. I'm ready to explode. I'm ready to defend my family from bandits from in a post-apocalyptic world. What if bandits hit the house?
And you're wearing skin-tight jeans?
Pants and like leather shoes.
Yeah,
I tell you what, my whole family's getting robbed. The little fella, he's gone. He's going to get taken as a slave, be used as labor. The jeans are probably pretty good for a bit of labor.
Yeah.
So, mate, that's why I wear shoes, is to be ready for highly trained ninjas and assassins, and also to stop bandits from robbing the family.
That's extremely fair. When people ask me, like, where do you like to go out? My default response is just anywhere that lets me in with shorts. And not just like because I want to wear shorts, like anywhere that's like casual or cruisy enough that you can get in with shorts. That's my vibe.
Growing up, I had this idea of like, I want to be wearing suits everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to be a suit guy because that means that I'm like making heaps of cash. I'm like cool and I'm suave. And as I got older, I was almost trying to force my way into it. Like, yeah, dress nicely all the time. And then I got to a point I was like, no, I want to be so successful that I can wear whatever I want every day.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be at. I want to be a slob. I want to just chill out. And so pants for me, I will say that when you work on a work site, like a big one, you want to wear pants.
Well, yeah, that's necessary.
Because, and I mean like not pants as in like business suit pants, just because like hitting your knees on stuff, scratching, definitely want to be wearing pants. Where I see some tradies like in-house, I guess domestic stuff, wearing shorts, and I'm always like, damn. I get it in domestic because you've got to be a bit more agile to get in a ruse or whatever.
Yeah.
But fuck, their knees must get smashed by, while they're working and that. But yeah, I'm a shorts guy. Always was, always will be.
Yeah, I love coming in here. My old job, like we had to wear just a polo shirt and pants. And even that, I was getting sick of that. Like especially like in the middle of summer, because you look anywhere, no one wears shorts to work. No one.
Yeah, I know.
Like no one in offices anyway.
No one in offices. But I don't know, why are pants always less comfortable than shorts? And I'm not even talking about the free calves or whatever. I'm talking about around the hips and that. It's always not as comfortable. It's always tighter.
It's like I'm literally dying in these right now. I hate them. They're just, it feels tight there. It's tight around like the thighs.
Do you think because it pulls, because it's on the knees, so it pulls down maybe?
It must be.
And look, I've had some really well tailored like suits, I guess, that have been great. And when you pay, for like your wedding, when you pay a bit extra, it's, I guess, more comfortable. But yeah, I'm a shorts guy. And as I said, you just never know when a highly trained, efficient assassin will try to kill you. So I'll be ready. You won't be. Let us know in the comments. Are you a pants or shorts guy? Are you a pants or shorts guy? And also, are you a suit? Are you a guy that likes to get dressed up? Do you know blokes that like to get dressed up?
Oh, 100%. It's crazy to me. But there, I got mates who like love to wear suits. They love I don't even know what the suit shops are, but they love getting new suits like for the races, for weddings, and they love it. Yeah, it's not for me though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. As I said, I thought I'd be that guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not that guy. I don't think I am.
The only time I like I have to wear suits is like for Guru's wedding. I think that was the last time I wore one. Fuck. And going to the races. And both of those events, like weddings and going to the races, you have a few drinks and things can go terribly, terribly wrong.
Hot take. Not that big a fan of the races. Hot take.
You know what?
I'm honestly I get it. And it's, if you go to the races for like 1 or 2 hours, fun.
Yeah.
If you're going on races for the day,
yeah,
not a big fan of it.
I get accused of agreeing with you too much sometimes, but I don't like the races either. I think I always just blow through heaps of money. I don't like horse racing. That's the problem. Like I'm not a fan. I don't punt on dogs or horses or anything. I don't know anything about it. Like I was talking to Timmy the other day and he was watching the races and he's like, he knows everything. I'm like, wow, this is like another sport to you. So I guess if you like that, it's good.
The only fun bit is the punting.
Yeah, but you can do that anywhere.
You can do that anywhere. And also, I don't know nothing about the horses, but that's what makes it fun. As I said, a few hours of power. Why do I not like the races? It's just like not comfortable. You can't just sit down and chill.
Yeah.
I need to sit down and chill for a little bit. Being on my feet all day, and look, maybe it's a young man's game and a young woman's game, I'm not sure. But if you could sit down comfortably, maybe in aircon for a little bit, but being in the races all day long in the sun, you get your 3rd or 4th hour in, you're just absolutely sloshed.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big fan. You're in your suit, it's not as comfortable. By the end of the day, your tie's undone, your jacket's probably off, you probably lost your jacket.
You probably spent a bunch of money.
Yeah, I've just never been that big of a fan. Like, as I said, a couple hours of power, great, love it. But going there the whole day is just not my thing.
Even a couple of hours for me, I haven't been in years. I just avoid it.
And people that say, oh, you should, you agree with me too much. Oh, bruh, that's why we're mates.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Who's mates with someone that they disagree with all the time?
I know.
Like, it would be so tiresome with a friend and you're sitting across from them and everything you say, they're like, nah, disagree.
I hate those people.
It's like, bruh, you're a contrarian. We get it. You're the cool guy that disagrees with everything that everyone else likes. Whereas your mates, usually Usually the reason why you're mates is because you have similar interests.
Exactly.
Usually similar opinions. It doesn't mean you have to be similar across the entire board.
Yeah.
But like, otherwise it just wouldn't work. Like you look, think about the shows where they disagree constantly. They're, what kind of shows are they? Where they're yelling at each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always get surprised when people think that I'm just agreeing just to agree. Like I have no issue with disagreeing with literally anyone to their face.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fucking dick. I can just say, I probably feel a bit differently about this or that. But at the same time, I also, like, if I'm doing a show with someone, usually I'm friends with them. Usually we see things from the same perspective because that's like we get along.
Over here, yeah.
And so, this idea that you constantly have to be disagreeing, oh my God. But usually those comments are from people that had the opinion that you wanted to disagree with me about.
Exactly right,
like,
yeah.
It always comes from like, because me and you agree on something that they disagree with, then they'll be like, yeah, you're only doing that because you want to agree with him.
Exactly,
it's like, well, maybe it's my real opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe we actually have a lot of things in common and we have the same kind of outlook on certain things. So what a week of sport, hey? The Tillies. Wow. The history that they have achieved is nothing short of incredible. And also, I've been thinking about it a lot more in regards to funding. And I get the argument of the women's game doesn't generate as much revenue, domestically. I get that argument. But with something like this happening, breaking the record for most viewed, so essentially half the country watched them play.
Yeah.
So it is Robbie Slater said it great on the show earlier today, the Morning Glory. It is a party sport where, everyone gets on board, it comes around every now and then. But when I look at it from an opportunity perspective, is, okay, the men's soccer team, the Australian men's soccer team, they did incredible this year for, where they stand in the world. But when you look across our roster, how many players do we have in the top tier playing in the best teams? Pretty much none. Pretty much none. So the journey back to the top, or not even back, the journey to the top of a World Cup for the men, it is a long-ass journey. Like, we're talking for fucking 20 years of luck plus support. Whereas the women's game, most of our players are in the top tier leagues.
Okay.
So why not look at it almost the way USA did? And I know the USA had the same problems, like with, complaining about pay or whatever. But the USA with the women's team, it's almost like they're their shining trophy to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Like, the women's team more than the men's team.
Oh, bloody hell.
And so I think this is an opportunity for the government to go, why not make the Tillies our shining trophy to the rest of the world? We're already nearly there. Now, if we don't get behind the girls, other countries will catch up. But right now, we have top-tier players currently playing for our side. If we put a bit of funding behind it, and some people might say, the girls get paid millions anyway over in those big Premier Leagues. Yeah, but that's different to the funding of development. The girls, it's not about, and like, obviously you would want the girls to get paid more if they're making semi finals and World Cup finals, but it's mainly not about that. It's actually about, okay, can we put funding in? Like, for right now, the next 20 years, where do you reckon most girls are going to probably end up if everything stayed the same as the way it was? AFL and league.
Rugby league, yeah.
Because they got the NRLW and the AFL.
Yeah.
AFLW. And you got to look at the Matildas and look what they've achieved. If we get behind them now as a government, yes, I understand that the local game doesn't generate as much revenue, but they have easily the highest participation rate in women's and men's. Their participation rate is so high, they actually struggle to find soccer fields to play at.
Really?
It is super high at a young age, but there's just no pathways.
Yeah.
So we have this huge opportunity to use the Matildas as our shining light to the rest of the world. Why not take it?
Yeah.
Why not take it? And it may not make immediate financial sense of like generating, but at the same time, I do believe that the Matildas could generate enough revenue over the next few years to pay for an increased amount of government spending. Look what happened at the World Cup. Let's say, so the government, I'm pretty sure, owns the stadiums, public transport, but they also tax on all goods sold. So imagine the increased amount of money that has been made because of the World Cup and Matilda's going really well. So are you telling me that wouldn't be enough to justify increasing the revenue that is spent on them by the government?
Yeah. 100%. And also, like, what you said before, like, yeah, the domestic comp may not, generate revenue in that. But if you have that attitude, then you're never going to do it, right? And if there's any time to do it, it's right now.
It's right now.
After this incredible World Cup.
It's right now. And again, it's not just about giving money to the Tillies. It's about putting money in young sport for specifically men and women. But women, I would go even a bit more towards the women than the men. But hopefully, which is a 50-50 split. Because if we could keep a lot of our young players in the game, think about what the Tillies would look like in 5 to 10 years.
I was at the pub watching the last Matildas game against England. So my girlfriend, she played, I think it's called N League or NP, some like high level soccer in Victoria.
NPL or something.
Yeah, that's it. And I was talking to like all her mates who like all played soccer as well, and they were like so proud of this team because of like what they didn't have when they were younger and what like the next generation might have. But like they were telling me just even like compared to the men in that age, the men get like way more, even at like children.
Yeah,
which is just wild.
And it's such an opportunity because it's not like the government doesn't spend money on obscure sports.
Yeah.
So Andrew Webster wrote a great article this morning saying that I think it's paddling gets $7 million in funding, whereas I think the women's soccer got like 1.9 or something. And that would just cover travelling and that. So it's not like the government doesn't spend money on obscure sports. And the reason why they do it is because it's building towards Olympic gold medals.
Yeah.
But tell me what's more valuable, a soccer World Cup or an Olympic gold medal in an obscure sport? Now, I don't want money to be taken away from any sport or whatever.
Yeah.
But you tell me, a lot of people say, oh, it's just sport. It's just sport. Tell me the last time you felt this country as unified as it was over this week.
Literally never in my life. Never in my life. Certainly not a sporting team or sporting event. I was probably too young to really appreciate Kathy Freeman, so I won't count. I'll say from there onwards, I haven't felt like this.
Like the country, a country in today's day and age with social media, actually all on board, crossing party lines, per se, and just behind the girls. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So why not grab that, hold it, and get behind it?
It hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen again.
Sport unifies people.
Yeah.
Across cultures, across race, across everything. Sport unifies people. That's why it's more than a game. That's why it's not it's just a game. No. It unifies us behind a common goal, and it makes us proud to be where we're from.
Yeah.
We should be proud that we're Australian. I know there's this like huge movement of like hating where you're from. No country's perfect, for sure. And we should absolutely always be looking to improve, and we should absolutely look to the past and say, that was wrong, let's be better. But Australia, you should absolutely be proud to be Australian, and you should absolutely be proud of this country. And I believe, I've travelled and I've been really happy. The places I've been, they're really incredible. But there's no place like Australia. The opportunity here, the living standard, it's a beautiful country. So I couldn't be more proud to be Australian, and I think it was so good to see the girls do what they did. Now, don't forget, Shoe Grab. When you head to Shoe Grab to get new shoes, free delivery on all orders over $99. Sneakers, casual, performance side, limited exclusives, plus a bunch of clothes and accessories. Also, don't forget, Mackenzie Arnold is the code for Menulog. Hungriest player, use code Arnold for $10 off Mexican food. That's right, Mackenzie Arnold is our hungriest player for Menulog. Use code Arnold. Now, I'm sure people are waiting for it. Let's get into it. The Rugby League.
Yeah.
Sharks defeat the Cowboys. What a game from the Sharkies.
Oh.
What a game from the Sharkies. And I know it's kind of easy to go, oh, yeah, Cowboys are done. But I thought the Cowboys, for most of the game, played pretty bloody good footy.
I thought 30 minutes in, I was like, wow, Cowboys are really dominating the Sharks here. Like through the middle, they just had their number. They're only up by 6 points. But then it just changed.
And that's what's so impressive. 30 minutes in, I'm going, Cowboys are just tougher than the Sharkies.
Yeah.
And that's the one area where Sharkies just don't want to get into a grind, and eventually they get broken. They didn't get broken. Matter of fact, they said, all right, good. We'll stay in the grind with you. I think the completion rates for the first 20 were outrageously good.
Yeah, there was the first error was in I think the 18th set of the game.
And so it was back-to-back. It was grindy, and it's probably mate, I'd make the argument it's one of the better performances I've seen since Craig Fitzgibbon took over. Away in Townsville against the North Queensland Cowboys playing for their season, And it was a high quality. I believe that was finals footy intensity.
Yep.
And they got the job done. It wasn't easy. They had adversity. They had, Cowboys had the run of play, and they not only did they hang in there, they bounced back and scored a couple of tries and went in halftime up.
Yeah. That, the first 20 minutes of that game where I thought the Cowboys were winning, not only did they not make any errors, both teams were belting each other. The Sharks especially, there was a point in about the 20th to 25th minute where, I made a mental note that, no one's running onto the ball. Everyone's out on their feet right now.
Yep.
And then just the mental toughness to flick the switch, as I said before, and turn it all around. I couldn't believe they were up at halftime.
So good.
Especially when they didn't bomb a chance, but when Hazelton ran the ball on fifth, when it probably should have gone a bit more out wide to Nicola or someone, and then you're just fuck. They got all the way down there and they wasted a chance. And then literally 2 minutes later, they do the exact same thing and Hazelton scores a try.
Yep.
Then Cowboys kick off and Royce Hunt, who just off the kickoff, I know he had a bad error in the second half off the kickoff, but off the kickoff, he's so good. Made 20 meters and then finished the set with a try. You're just oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. And even little things like seeing Blake Brayley getting out of dummy half.
Great.
They're playing on the advantage line. We always look at the Sharks for their incredible expansive play. But I just love, it's almost a bit like the Storm where they play on that front foot really well.
Yeah.
Blake Brayley bringing Hazelton into the game like that. That is, if they become dangerous around the ruck and on the edges, it's almost impossible to stop them. I was super impressed with the Sharkies, and it bodes so well for the club that most other clubs in the competition, and literally most, outside of maybe Penrith and Storm, I'm trying to think, most other clubs outside of Penrith and Storm, with everything that went against the Sharkies and the way they were travelling, fall out of the 8.
Yeah.
And they end their season poorly. Think of it. Even the Broncos last year fell out of the 8, and look where they are this year. And so that shows you some mental resilience that is part of this Sharky squad, that it bodes so well for the future, because if you keep that attitude and then a couple of recruits that come in, because Wade Graham retiring, that's going to free up a lot of money, it is, a little bit of hiccup, a little bit of speed bump. Look, does it mean that they're going to play in a grand final? I'm not sure. I think if they make the finals and they have a solid showing, regardless of how it goes, a solid showing week 1, I would be happy with that as a Sharkies fan.
Yep.
Last year was a fairy tale. 10th to 2nd, everything goes well for you. But this year was testing when your teams usually and coaches can act very differently in adversity, whereas Craig Fitzgibbon has stepped towards the adversity, taken it head on and turned the boys around. Nico Hines, crazy adversity, stepped towards it, got through it, pushed through it. Wasn't easy. It was a few games. It was a bit down on confidence, stepped through it. That left edge, so much talk about it. Think about heading into an NRL match when it's not even a secret. It's not even, usually going into a match, you might know internally the other team is watching, okay, our left side's a bit weak.
Yeah.
The other team's going to be looking at a bit of video. Imagine going to NRL matches, not only is the other team watching, everyone is watching and saying, you're the weak side and you're going to cost us a final series. They managed to shore up that edge, and they still can get better, but managed to shore up that edge and do what they did. That shows mental resilience. That shows toughness. I am excited for the Sharkies. I really, as an entire club, I think that they're still in the right direction. I think Sharkies fans that, yes, you didn't improve on last year, but progress is not a straight line. It never has been. It never will be. It's always tougher than you would ever expect it to be. You don't just roll in, have a great year, and then everything else is great. Look at the Broncos, for example. Everything was going great. Everyone thought they were going to be a premiership threat last year. Boom, completely out of the water. They could have dropped their heads and said, oh, shit, we're done. No, they came back next year. I think Sharkies are in a good spot.
I think as well, to change your halves in the middle of a season, when I know a lot worked with Moylan in terms of attack, but just for Trindle to shore up a little bit that defense on that side, but also Trindle's kick,
40-20.
He's 40-20. He's got a great boot on him. I know sometimes it's a bit inconsistent here and there, but when he's on, it's really good.
He's a young half. That'll come.
Yeah, but I reckon that's another piece of a bit of adversity they've overcome as well.
Talakai in the centres.
Yeah, there's another one.
This is a side that's willing to fight through adversity, whereas there are plenty of sides out there that they get a lot of adversity for a month and it destroys their season.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed by the Sharkies. I think that, they've still got a ways to go. I think they still need a couple of recruits here or there. But I think they deserve massive raps.
They could find themselves in the 4 because they've got they're the Sharks. They've got Knights and then Raiders, 2 winnable games, and the Storm. If they beat the Dragons this week, they'll be on more points. But the Storm have got Brisbane in the last game.
Yeah,
and I think on for and against the Sharks might be better. I think. So they could make the top 4, which is crazy considering that before that Rabbitohs game, they were looking at missing out on finals altogether. So
they could actually. So they're currently in the top 4.
Yeah.
If Warriors drop a couple games,
that too,
they could squeeze in there. So they're a real chance of finishing top 4.
Yeah.
If they finish top 4, what a season.
Yeah.
Because I know it hasn't looked that great and that pretty, but again, just to fight your way into that top 4 position through the adversity, through everyone counting you out, through mass changes, veterans, like everything has happened at the Sharkies, everyone counted that, including myself. I thought they were done.
Yeah.
To finish top 4 would be a massive success. And I just think that Craig Fitzgibbon is going to be... I would be shocked if he's not a coach for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, and hopefully the Sharks coach, their coach. Yeah.
He is the real deal in my opinion.
Yeah.
He really is. I think the only way that, people could look and... The only way you could say that, changes need to be made, it wouldn't be him. It would be people around him. Yeah. I think he is the man for the job for the Sharks. I think he is the man that can bring them a premiership.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree. Yep.
So I'm stoked for the Sharkies that the fact they've turned it around against everything. I thought they were done. Their confidence gone. So really, really good.
And just their inability to beat top teams, which was a huge issue. You just it's black and white in front of you. You just they couldn't do it. I thought they were no chance, and now they've knocked off South, but to knock off the Cowboys up there.
Yeah, and someone will go, well, they're not a top 8 side right now. That was top 8 footy.
Oh, bloody oath! That was top 8 footy.
That was top 8 footy. That was the Cowboys playing like a top 8 side.
Yeah.
So I still think they're a little bit of a step away from the top tier sides. They are a top 8 side though. They are a top 8 side.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've managed to pull it out of the fire the way they have, I think it's so impressive. Onto the Cowboys. Oh man, it's tough because I didn't think they played that poorly.
No, they didn't.
I think they just lacked a bit of creativity in attack. They had a bit of field position to get the job done, but they just didn't seem to be able to pull the trigger at the right time. Jeez, is it a disaster year for the Cowboys? No, it's not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is it a disappointing year? For sure.
If they miss the finals, it's a bad year.
So they play Panthers at the end of the season.
Yeah.
They play Dolphins next week and then Panthers.
They do play Panthers, but will Panthers rest their players?
I don't think so because if the Broncos come back and win, then it could be a minor premiership.
Yeah, true.
And minor premiership, you still want to finish first.
Oh, for sure.
And Cleary's been rested. The boys all got rested. I don't think they'll rest if they're playing for number 1.
Yeah.
If Broncos drop a game, I think they do rest. But I think they'll want that. I think they'll want the minor premiership.
Yeah, me too. And even if they don't, I back the Panthers.
Yeah,
even I know Cowboys beat them earlier in the year when Origin was affected, but it was a bloody close game. I think they went to Golden Point, didn't it, that game? Or it was really close. It was 27-23 or something. Either way, when you're relying on other teams to rest players, it's not the position you want to be in.
It's weird because I look at the Cowboys and look at their roster, I'm like, are there that many changes that need to be made? I love their forward pack. I thought their bench is good as well. I thought the Sharkies bench was probably a little bit better last night. Nanai, far out. Seeing Nanai hit Hunt like that,
yeah,
I'm just like, we are looking at a freak athlete.
That was...
he's still a kid essentially, 20, 21 years old. The physicality to hit a bloke that big, that hard. It's imagine what he's going to be doing when he's 25 and he has his man strength.
Yeah.
Far out. And he's got a busted shoulder that's getting needled up all the time.
I reckon, I also reckon they missed, it's very obvious, but they missed Valentine Holmes much. And I reckon I actually reckon he's the best centre in the NRL. To be honest.
He's the best centre in the game?
I reckon he is. I'd pick him. I mean, maybe Latrell, but besides Latrell, players that are actually playing centre, I know there's Joey Manu and it's a neck and neck battle, but he'd be the first player I sign. I'm not including Latrell.
Form wise, I'd probably go Val. I love Tungo when he plays.
Oh, Tungo's a beast.
He's a fucking beast. Critter's been playing really well as well. They definitely missed Holmes because Holmes creates momentum for them.
Yeah.
He creates momentum. He creates line breaks. So definitely missed him. Not a disaster for the Cowboys, but definitely disappointing. I think that early start to the year really hurt them.
That's the problem. They've
Really
been playing
hurt them.
catch up all year.
It's funny how much things come true. Like the advice that Smithy gives, just like it's so accurate. Now I remember a couple of years ago where he was like, the start of the year is so important.
Yeah.
It's so important because if you don't start well and bank wins, it will always come back to bite you. Essentially, always come back to bite you.
Well, I guess the Storm formula is very
That's what they do.
obviously winning formula.
Yeah, and so when people go, well, that's obvious. Of course, the start of the season's such an important thing. But I was always of the mind, no, not really. You can build into the season, and then get the wins towards the end of the year because you're fit, that you've got combinations going. But you look at it now and you go, far out. There's so many teams that if they just had a start of the year well, they would have had so many 6 more points would put them in the 8 easy.
6 more points. They're probably in the top 4.
Yeah, so that start. It's why Craig Bellamy has put so much emphasis on winning round 1.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Because if you win round 1, then you're ready. You're good to go to a degree. And it just shows you that unfortunately the Cowboys, maybe they're suffering from all the rep players they had out.
Yeah.
Maybe they're fatigued from such a massive 24 months.
But I'm with you. I think even if they miss the 8, which is possible, I don't know, 50-50, but they're a good team. I wouldn't be changing much. And I think, even if they miss the 8, I'm still backing them to make the 8 next year with the same roster.
I agree. I would still be very surprised if they don't make the 8 next year.
Yeah. As you said, not a disaster. Definitely underachieved.
Yeah.
Have been underachieving if they don't make the finals.
Which is so interesting because I reckon maybe at the start of the year, I'm not sure who I said would have to do the accountability at the end of the year, but
yeah,
it's interesting to see how the Sharks managed to pull it out of the fire. When 4 weeks ago you would have said, mate, Cowboys are the one pulling it out of the fire.
Yeah.
Cowboys are the ones that are mentally tough. I mean, Cowboys went down there last year and beat them at their home ground, then just lost to the Eels. Imagine how different the history would be if Cowboys had won that game at home against the Eels.
Oh, I know.
Far out.
Yeah.
I still think that's a really good roster. I still think it's a roster that at its best can challenge the top tier sides. So it's going to be interesting to see what change. I thought Townsend had a really disappointing night last night. Just didn't seem to work for him. I do think people forget how quickly Townsend fucking changes around, guys. People that are going hard at Townsend, it's hang on a sec, guys. He literally turned that club around.
And he's a big reason that Dearden's playing as good as he is.
Yeah. So okay, he might have had a couple bad games or a few bad games or even a not so great season. If you wanted to go that hard at him, which I disagree with, it's guys, you guys were fucking last.
Yeah.
You were a second last, whatever it was.
Yeah, and a lot of people picked him for the spoon last year.
Yeah, and he was a huge reason that you had such an incredible year. It was short memories. Jeez.
Yeah.
And look at all of these clubs at the bottom of the table that would kill for Chad Townsend. So, just chill on that shit. Chill on that shit. Now, don't forget, 9 now. Huge game tonight. Huge game this week. We got Eels versus Roosters. Still a chance of making the 8, both teams. Then on Sunday, we have the Raiders up against the Bulldogs on 9 now. It's funny. I put up the video of Mulatalo slapping Hunt's ass. And I knew someone was going to he's watching Fox. He's watching Fox. So I have to clear the air.
Yeah.
I was watching 9 now because Billy Slater and Andrew John's commentary was fucking so good last night. But I don't know how to do replays on 9 now. I don't think you can do replays on 9 now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I had to go to KO to replay so that I could film it and post it.
Yeah, right.
So no wool pulling here.
Yeah.
No turncoat here. I mean, not even turncoat, to be honest. Wherever you watch footy, doesn't really. Watch it at 9 now for the great commentary.
I'll tell you what's great about 9 now, especially Friday night, so tonight. Actually, Saturday now as well, because they got the 7:30 game. But obviously, you always watch the 6 o'clock game, and then sometimes you just forget to change it over.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm 15 minutes in, and I realise. And it's such a treat to go to the 9 commentary.
Yeah, it is. Because, you're going to watch KO. If you watch all the games, you have to watch KO.
Yeah.
And they got so much content and all that, which is good.
Yeah.
But the commentary for Nine,
It's elite.
it is so elite. Like Joey was on fire last night. They
Yeah.
were talking in-depth footy. Like even when Joey, I think it was like 20 minutes in, he was like, "Oh geez, they've made 200 tackles already. Usually by half time, it's about 240. The game's going to open up at the back end of each half. Like what happened? Exactly that. And Billy Slater, we all know how great he is.
I love the best thing about Joey is that, like, you know when you watch a game and then you like a mad play happens, and you're like, wow, that was sick. And then you watch the replay and you're like, wow, Townsend did this or didn't do this. The replay comes on, and I'm just a casual fan. Like, obviously, you're probably different, X's and O's, but like, as a casual fan, before the replay's even on, Joey tells you what to watch out for.
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
know.
and I'm just like, how did you see that?
Yeah, so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, one shot, he knows already what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Joey's on, he's
the
on,
best.
he's the best.
Yeah.
He can be a bit chill sometimes. But I mean, that's why he's a rogue. That's why we love him.
Yeah.
But when he's focused and dialed in, fuck, he's one of the best. I
Yeah.
love listening to him break down like attacking plays. There's not much better than him when he's dialed in.
100%.
There really isn't. Anyway, round 25 preview. Who you going? Warriors, brought to you by Sportsbet. You're going to have a punt. You got to do it with Sportsbet. Best in the business. You guys know this. Best in the business. They are a big partner of Bloke, so they support us guys. They make Bloke possible, so go support them only if you're going to punt. And if you are going to punt, do it responsibly. Don't bet money that you can't afford. Just a little punt here and there, fun with friends. Make sure it's responsibly. You'll win some, but you lose more. Now let's get to some tipping. New Zealand Warriors on Sportsbet, $1.18. Manly Seagulls, $4.95. What are you doing, Matty?
The Warriors are short. I'm tipping them. I'm not extremely confident, but I just think it's prime time in New Zealand, so it's 8 o'clock on a Friday. It's been sold out. I think the Warriors are going to have a good game tonight. Wait, you?
Yeah, Warriors. Eels, Roosters. Eels, 2.19. Roosters, $1.68.
If Moses was playing, I'd tip the Eels. I think
I'm
Roosters.
going Roosters.
Yeah.
Tigers, Dolphins, $1.42. Dolphins, $2.89.
Poor
Jeez.
Dolphins, they're decimated. I think Brooks might be out as well. So this,
Yeah, wow.
so probably Tigers, I guess.
Yeah, I think Tigers get the win. Titans, $9.50. Panthers, $1.06.
Yeah, Panthers by a lot.
St. George, Illawarra. Can you imagine if Panthers go up there and struggle for a win again? All of a sudden, people will be like, ooh. St. George, Illawarra Dragons, 5.10. Storm, $1.17.
Storm are so hard. I'm tipping Storm, but like, God, they're just so inconsistent.
I'm tipping Storm as well. I will say, I felt so sorry for Dragons the last month of footy.
Yeah,
they've been
good.
robbed with hectic calls. They've really worked their butts off.
What about? Did you see they tried to justify the offside?
Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Look, if you want to come out and say we're going to be honest, and when we get it wrong, we're going to say we get it wrong.
Yeah.
Do that all the time. To say that the angle that they showed shows that they're not offside is just like, bro, come on. Both feet behind the kicker, behind the ball. Like, you really think that angle that's in front and 45 degrees. So the angle that's in front in 45 degrees is better than a bird's eye view 45 degrees behind.
Yeah, no.
Like, come on. Like, just... Anyway, it sucks because, like, I know the bunker, the video ref, and I know the refs have a tough job.
Yeah.
I know they're under pressure, and I know that it's like the most thankless job ever because the better you do, the less people even know about it.
Yeah.
It's honestly the most thankless job. Literally, the better you are, the less you're noticed.
Yeah.
But I think they need more support. I think they need more resources put into the video ref, more resources put into the reffing, and also more trust and training into the refs to have a feel for the game. Because I personally believe that the current ref crop that we have, they do have a feel for the game, but I think it's been changed by all these rule changes and people above them saying, no, this is what we need to do. This is not what we need to crack down on. Go to the video ref all the time. And almost... It's almost got to a point where they just go, you know what, I'm just going to go to the video ref. Like, why risk it?
Yeah, exactly.
Why risk it? Just go to the video ref, and it's out of my hands. I don't have to make the call. Whereas I feel like and look, this is pure speculation, but I feel like if the NRL put onus back on, no, we're going to back you in your feel for the game. And if you do that and you allow refs to have feel for the game, I think fans would be more willing to cop the calls that
100%.
go either their way. And also... I know I've always been a supporter of the video ref, and I know I sound like an old fogey, and I used to think, like, you know, when Smithy and Joey used to say, get rid of the video ref, I used to be like, mate, come on, this technology.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm there yet, but I'm getting pretty close. Because some of these calls from the video ref, they slow the game down so much, but also we're getting them wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like,
what's the point of slowing it down when it's going to be wrong anyway?
Like, so why don't we just go, you know what? Let's take all that money, invest it into our refs to make them hectic refs, and then the flow of the game is better. And also, you can almost fall on that to fans and say, look, I know we can never take the cat's out of the bag now, but let's just say in a world we did, you can say to the fans, guys, we're going to get some wrong, but this helps the flow of the game.
Yeah.
You know, this helps it so we're not stopping it for 5 minutes every fucking 10 minutes. More fatigue, more tries, more excitement, more everything. And we're going to get them wrong because we're human beings, but we'll do everything we can. Or like, even if we go, okay, video ref only in try scoring situations or whatever it is, just some way to go, you know, we're getting them calls wrong anyway. Like, for example, some of the calls that touchies make, I'm like, what? It's literally all you should be looking at.
Yeah.
Like, you literally can see his foot out. Like, what else are you looking at other than them being onside or offside?
Yeah.
Maybe they've got another job of, like, I don't know, the 10-meter mark. Maybe, look, there's so much I don't know, but it just seems like outside looking in, the refs aren't being given enough training and support and finances, and we've lost the idea that refs have their own feel and touch for the game.
Yeah.
I think that back in the day, you used to have refs where you'd go into a game and you'd be like, Bill Harrigan, he refs like this. So this is the way it's going to be. This ref, he refs like this. Whereas nowadays, it's almost just across the board.
Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah, I just think the refs aren't given... They're just like, they're on a leash.
Yeah, they're robotic.
They're robotic because they've been getting hammered with, like, from higher up of like, this is what we need to do, rather than going, you know what? You are paid because you're good at what you do. So we're going to trust that you know how to make a game flow. Because what I don't understand is we get to Origin
and it's the best.
The reffing is fucking outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So it's like, and guess what that is? That's the refs given leeway to allow feel for the game.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah. And you can't sit here and tell me that they're not cheating a half a metre in Origin. They're doing it more in Origin.
They do it more in Origin.
Yeah.
They hold down when they can. They get offside when they can. They're a bit grubby in tackle. Like, of course they are.
Yeah.
Anyway, what game were we on? Knights, Rabbitohs. Knights 2.15, Rabbitohs $1.71.
Rabbitohs, hopefully Totola's back.
Raiders, Bulldogs. Raiders $1.34. Bulldogs $3.28.
Probably Raiders. They're fighting for their season, but they've been disappointing, the Raiders.
Don't forget, guys, Liquor Legends, New South Wales, ACT, Queensland have bloke midi 6-packs on special. As I said, guys, we are the beer of rugby league. If you're driving in your car or you're at the gym right now and you want to have some beers later, just go down and give her a try. Just give her a try. See how you like it. I promise you won't be disappointed. It's a beautiful beer and it was made in sport. Beautiful. It's Aussie spirit in a can. And it's for blokes that turn up for family, mates, and good times. We spoke about this already, but are you slowly becoming a movie man? I need you to become a movie man.
What do you want from, like, you want me to watch? Why don't you give me? I'll watch a movie this week because I just don't. I watched Gladiator for the first time like a few months ago.
I know, and that's so you like that is fucked.
Yeah,
like you are less of a friend to me. That fact that is true.
And like I hate people that like try to not do things to be cool. So I'm trying really hard not to sound like I'm flexing that I don't watch movies.
Oh
I don't think it's
so
cool.
I
hate that.
Oh, is the Matildas playing? Who gives a shit?
Bro.
Who gives a shit? Sport, boring. Sports for losers. It's like, oh, okay, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. You're so cool, man. You don't like sport like everyone else. Like, you're so above everyone else. You're so enlightened. Give me a break.
I hate people like that.
Oh, it's just like so cringe.
You're just not fun to be around, you know?
But like also, the problem with people like that is like, you're not intelligent enough to realize how unintelligent you are.
Yeah.
Like if you think that is cool, then you aren't aware enough to understand that just liking sport doesn't make you dumb. Like, but because or whatever it is, whatever reason why sport isn't cool. Like, look, if you don't enjoy sport, that is fine. Like, there's no one saying you have to watch sport. But bragging about not watching sport,
yeah, that's shit.
most uncoolest thing ever. Just like someone's like, I don't read books. I was like,
You sound like an idiot.
Yeah, like you're bragging about not reading books.
Yeah.
Okay, bro. You know, like it's like the oldest form of like knowledge. Like it changed the world when we could, you know, begin to print books. It literally changed the world. Reading books, the information that you can get out of it, it is second to none. Literally second to none. Now, if you don't want to read books, that's fine. But you're not cool for not reading books.
Exactly.
That's bizarre to me. That is bizarre. But I watched actually on Netflix Untold documentary Jake Paul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was interesting. It's not like, I think it's funny that people go, oh, you just got to get to know him and he's a different guy behind the scenes. Nah, he still seems like a bit of a douche.
Yeah, that's why I've reserved watching.
No, watch it. It's interesting.
Okay.
It's
Well, I love
interesting.
docos, so
yeah, it's definitely interesting. I want to watch the Untold Johnny Manziel, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
I want to watch that. He's like this gun that came through college, quarterback.
Okay.
Got scouted, I think, by the Cleveland Browns and just completely sabotaged his career. Like, he's like so hyped up when he came out. I think the number 1 draft pick, like loved by everyone.
Who did I think I heard Scope talking about this.
Yeah,
actually.
you would have watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
That sounds hectic.
Yeah, that sounds hectic. But the Jake Paul one's decent. Again, I'm not... Look, because like, the thing with Jake Paul is I'm not a fan with like the carry on, and I don't mind carry on, but like the fake, you know, caring about fighters' pay when it comes to MMA, the whole, you know, he doesn't care about that. He just wants attention, whatever.
Yeah.
But people that are like, oh, just, you know, fight a boxer, all you're fighting is old people. It's like, bro, he's a YouTuber in his 7th or 8th fight. You can go and find actual boxers that came through the amateurs that fight cab drivers in their 5th or 6th fight.
Yeah.
To expect Jake Paul to go out and box, like he fought Tommy Fury, and granted, Tommy Fury is not a good boxer, but he's a boxer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a complete towel up. Like, it wasn't Tommy Fury just knocking him out 2nd round. And so I don't think Jake Paul has a high skill set. I don't think he's actually a naturally talented boxer at all. I don't rate him highly as a boxer. But like, people that are like, oh, you know, you're a bum, you're only fighting MMA fighters. It's like, bro, do you know anything about boxing? Go and look at nearly any good boxer's record. The first 5 fights at the very least are against absolute tomato cans.
I think because I mean, I don't know anything about Jake Paul really, but I think going off that, the biggest sport in the world where casuals think they know everything is boxing. Like when people who like half watch boxing, they think that there's so many experts in boxing.
Yeah, I know. It's a
armchair expert. That's what I'm looking for.
MMA and boxing. It's funny because like there's a thing called like, oh, you're a casual. It's like an insult now in MMA.
Oh, okay,
like,
yeah.
You're a casual.
Yeah.
Which is, I think like casual should absolutely have their, I mean, I consider basically a casual. They should be allowed to have opinions.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're like, bro, like any boxer, their first few fights, like for example, when people get angry at footy fighters when they, you know, fight and they're like, oh, he's a tomato can. And it's like the footy fighter is literally in his 1st or 2nd fight.
Yeah.
Just because he's an athlete, it means nothing in a boxing ring. I promise you right now, being an athlete in boxing, it's a bonus, but I will show you guys that are so unathletic, just terrible. But they've boxed for a while and they know the skill set that will absolutely bash a hectic athlete.
Yeah, okay.
Now, if you're a hectic athlete and you learn how to box, then you can be good. Like, okay, here's a perfect one. Like Sonny Bill, even though I think that he had a good career in boxing, and I like what he did was great, but you would expect Sonny Bill to go to boxing and fucking wipe the floor with everyone when you talk about athletics, because he is truly one of the most gifted athletes we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
But, you know, he did well, and it's really respectable for what he's did. Mark Hunt, what was he, 45 years old?
Yeah. Maybe older.
Maybe even older.
Yeah.
Fights him way past his prime. Fights him, you know, Mark Hunt, he's not the fittest bloke. He doesn't look the fittest or whatever. Knocks Sonny Bill Williams out.
Crazy.
If that doesn't show you, and I understand Mark Hunt is one of the greatest, you know, to do it in the heavyweights, so I'm not saying that he's just some anyone, but it shows you that doesn't matter how athletic you are, if you know how to box and you know the sweet science, you will beat the best athlete in the world because it is a different language. It's honestly, it's like learning a language. You could probably transfer from like league to soccer quicker than you could transfer to boxing at a high level.
Yeah.
they're very different sports. But that's how. But people think that he's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's just going to go in there and bash someone. That's not boxing. That's why they call it sweet science.
Shows how good shows how like impressive Mundine's record was there.
100%. Like, you know, the fact that Chock did what he did. You know, I know a lot of people like to discredit it because he's outspoken and he still, what he did was incredible. Like, did he reach the tippity top tier of boxing in his weight class? You know, maybe not. But the fact that he was even close to it, the fact that he was even fighting like internationally the way he did, that's incredible. Being a footy player, and some might say he did a bit of boxing growing up. He was a footy player.
Yeah.
That's what he was a footy player. He was a footy player. He was in 3 grand finals. Yeah. Like, we're talking about a footy player. To do what he did, it's one of the greatest things any Australian sportsman has ever done.
Yeah.
Has ever done. Yeah. And, you know, if he was beloved by everyone, it would be celebrated more. But it was absolutely incredible what he achieved. Absolutely incredible.
And even though like he's outspoken and that, I love Mundine. I just listened to his podcast with James Graham. It was awesome. But his outspokenness, that sold so many tickets.
It sold so many tickets. And he wanted to be the villain. It sells tickets. Yeah. I'll tell you this about Anthony Mundine. Started the podcast, I would have been like 10 episodes in, maybe less. This is when he was the guy. Yeah. The guy. We're talking like 8 years ago. Now, you don't have to come on my podcast. No one ever has to. If someone says no to me, I have no issue with that. Like, of course, like you don't owe me fucking anything. Yeah. Anything. But I've had people that I know that like wouldn't even answer a message back then.
Yeah.
I messaged Anthony Mundine on Facebook. He responded to me. He doesn't know who I am. Just a random to him. Yep, sweet, boom. Come down, did the whole thing for free. He ended up saying things that were all across national news, went international as well. And he never asked for anything. He was completely humble about it. And so, like, does it mean I agree with everything he's ever said? Of course not. But there is a different side to Anthony Mundine.
For sure.
That a lot of people may not know. And that's Chock's fault. Like, he's the one that went out and said some outlandish stuff and acted the way he did. But if you've met him before and experienced, you know, just hanging out with him, there's a different side to him. And the fact that he gave me that, it was huge for the podcast.
Of course.
It put us, I wouldn't say like put us on the map because it still took many years for us to get big.
Yeah.
But for an Australian superstar athlete to answer a message on Facebook and then come on a podcast, no one even knew what they was nothing short of amazing. Like nothing short of amazing. I always remember that with Anthony Mundine. And so what he achieved was incredible, and no one can ever take that away from him.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is like, so the thing that people like roasted him for is he said he used to be Jonathan Thurston, but with twin turbos.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Now look, he obviously didn't end up being Thurston, but I challenge you, go back and look at Anthony Mundine's early career at the same age as like when, let's say JT was 24 when, you know, and you compare it to Mundine to his 24. I don't know whether it was as good, but it wasn't far off it.
Yeah.
It wasn't far off it. He was in 3 premiership sides.
Yeah. 3 grand finals. Yeah. And he's like...
grand finals.
Yeah. And if you look... because I was obviously too young, but I've watched all of his highlights, and he was
unbelievable.
Oh, wild.
And so it's not... Even though, you know, Thurston is probably going to be an immortal, one of the greatest sevens we've ever seen, it's not as crazy as some people think. Yeah. It's really not as crazy. He was amazing, Anthony Mundine. So how do we get down there? Oh, yeah, Jake Paul, boxing. When are you getting in the ring, bro? Have you ever boxed before?
I tell you what, I did boxing when I was in year 8, and my only claim to fame was I broke the gym skipping record.
Oh, my God. What was the record?
Like 17 minutes or something.
You skipped for 17 minutes?
Yeah.
That is so you.
I know.
Like boxing, but you're skipping
and
record.
I break the skipping record.
Not anything else that has to like obviously skipping has to be boxing, but like not the boxing.
Nah.
The skipping record.
Skipping the warm up.
Jesus Christ.
But no, I did I've never fought someone with gloves on. Yeah.
You sparred or anything?
No.
I reckon it should be like almost a prerequisite that every person has to just spar once. I know it's dangerous or whatever. Just once though, just so you can feel how easily you can be knocked out.
Yeah.
Because once you get... People think that going to a boxing gym makes you aggressive and angry and thinking that you're better than everyone else and you can bash everyone. It does the complete opposite.
Yeah.
You go into a boxing gym and you realize that you can't do shit and you could get bashed. You can get knocked out by the worst fighter ever if he just lands on your chin. Like it is so easy, and it humbles you. It's a total opposite of what a lot of people think. It truly humbles you and makes you realize that anyone can knock you out at any time. So just don't even bother. Don't even bother. You know, go in there. If you enjoy boxing, obviously continue to spar. I think it would humble a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
There's so many young men, especially out there, that, you know, they go out, testosterone's flying. I get it. You're young. You know, for so many years we were sent away to wars, so we just want to fight and just want to prove ourselves and prove we're the fucking big dogs and this is our territory and don't fuck with me. It's all part of like being a bloke. They go out and they get knocked out by someone.
Yeah.
Like, and they go into the fight thinking that they're indestructible, because we're all guilty of it. As an 18-year-old man, I literally thought I was indestructible. I literally thought that I was indestructible. And so, you know, with boxing, it teaches you that like you are absolutely destructible. And think about how much more humble everyone would be and respectful of everyone if you got into the gym once and sparred. Think about how much, okay, something goes wrong on the road with someone. You've been in sparring and you know that anyone could knock you out. How are you going to deal with that altercation differently?
Yeah.
You're going to be like, hey, mate, all good, because you don't want the conflict. You don't want to get in a fight because you know how fucking bad it can get. And that's that's just sparring. Street fights can get way more hectic.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Now, to be fair, it's also good if you do boxing for self-defense. So if you do get fucking crazy people or whatever attacking you, you can defend yourself. But I've always felt that. I really think it would teach. Look, if you don't want to get women in there and that, a lot of young men, if you got them in a boxing gym, it would completely change the way they acted when they went out. Now, there are some bad apples. There's some bad eggs where they train boxing and they go out and carry on like fuckwits. There's bad eggs and everything. But I think for most young men, it humbles them and teaches them respect. And like, there's no need to do any of that carry on.
Yeah, fair.
Anyway, that's it. Go and spar someone in a boxing gym. Just do it. That's what the beak says. Just do it once. And you will have a fucking hectic respect for the real boxers, the real fighters. Anyway, you got anything else to say, Matty?
I mean, I've never sparred anyone. I used to do the, I got gassed just punching a boxing bag.
Yeah, it's a different cardio system for sure.
Yeah. It's
They're
funny.
so fit. They're so fit.
Yeah.
MMA fighters, they are like trained weapons. That's when you see Alex Volkanovski. Think about how crazy it is. Alex Volkanovski, essentially right now, is pound for pound, the most dangerous man on earth.
Look at him.
Imagine that feeling in your own head. Like the fact that Alex Volkanovski is such a down-to-earth good bloke is a testament to his upbringing, to who he is as a man. Because think about how many young men would go completely off the rails with that in their head. Yeah. I am the most dangerous man on the planet, pound for pound. And I know some people sit there and go, oh yeah, but what about SAS soldiers? And look, with guns and that, for sure. Like, yeah, for sure. Like knives, yeah. But when we're talking about hand-to-hand combat, he's the most dangerous man on the planet, pound for pound. That is wild. And like we look back on Mike Tyson's days and we go, you know, baddest man on the planet. And he was, and he's still, I mean, I'm a huge fan of him as a boxer.
Yeah.
But MMA is different. They can do anything, anywhere, anytime. It's not just hands and boxing in a rule set. It's they can literally take you down and fucking destroy you any way they want to.
Yeah.
Any way like the most dangerous man pound for pound planet, and he's from Shell Harbour. He's probably down when he was 18. He was down the local having beers with his mates. He turned into an absolute
playing rugby league. Played
rugby league, and that's right. The most dangerous pound for pound person in the world, rugby league player.
I think it's a compliment to the sport as well. That like the most dangerous man on the planet is such a like it shows that even though it like from the outside it looks like it's an aggressive sport, really it's about being the most disciplined person in the room. As in
MMA or
MMA.
Rugby league?
MMA.
Yeah, super disciplined. And being mentally tough. You know, anyone can go out there and throw haymakers for 60 seconds, but can you be, because what's the saying? Fatigues makes cowards of us all.
Yep.
That's the difference. You can be mentally tough to be like, oh, I'm going to stand over you, I'm bigger, I'm tougher, struggling. Or when you're gassed, when your ass is hanging out, when your breath is just stinging in your lungs, you feel like you can't give it anymore. Can you go again? That's what separates the greats from just normal people. So, yeah. Anyway, so if anyone has an issue with me, just so you know, I'm friends with Alex Volkanovski. So one call, Volks comes in swinging. Not really. Probably like, who the fuck's this? Anything else today, mate?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
Alrighty. As usual, we'll go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.